Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Dan Black. North Carolina won their 6th national championship Monday night, defeating the Gonzaga Bulldogs 71-65. To recap that game, we have Brandon Riley from upstairs in the IU Media School. Now, Brandon, what was your initial takeaways from the ballgame? Now, the game was very close throughout, very much down to the wire. Who was the X factor for UNC to really get them over the hump to get the victory? All right, well, one of the big issues that came up throughout the game, especially after it, was the officiating. There were 44 total fouls. What was your opinion on the officiating? Do you think it was too much, or was it just right? All right, well, thank you, Brandon. That's all the time we have. For Brandon Riley, I'm Dan Black. We'll see you next time on Hoosier Sports Night. Will IU basketball miss the NCAA tournament? That's what a lot of fans are asking after Sunday's 75-63 loss to the Michigan Wolverines at Assembly Hall. Indiana head coach Tom Crean was critical of his backcourt after the game, saying that the team lacked leadership when dealing with adversity. IU freshman forward Deron Davis led IU in scoring with 13 points, while Michigan's Derek Walton scored 25 for the Wolverines. The Hoosiers are now 15-11 on the season and take on Minnesota Wednesday night.
And one thing that has plagued IU's offense as of late has been the turnovers. And Dan, talk about the way that IU cleaned it up against Ohio State to get the victory.
Right, well, they only had 12 turnovers for the game, whereas compared to Purdue, they had 11 in the first half. So to be able to limit the turnovers, that's huge because that limits the opportunity for the other team to get points, which is what you're going to need to do as we head into the Big Ten tournament.
Now, Indiana taking Iowa, like we said, and Dan, Peter Jok is something Jim mentioned. Is there anybody else that IU has to watch out for against Iowa?
I mean, not one person specifically, but I would say just the fact that they have a deep bench, that played a huge role last time when Indiana played them in overtime. The bench was significantly better than Indiana's. So just look out for that, and obviously Peter Jok. That's element number one.
And we
begins with the Red Wolves. Dan, no easy task tonight for Indiana from this foe from the Sun Belt Conference.
That's correct. You're talking about an Arkansas State team that went 28-2 last season, went 16-0 in the Sun Belt Conference. They are 6-5 currently, but that really doesn't show what kind of team they are. They're one of the best attacking teams in the country, with some of the best attackers as well.
And you mentioned it, there's no these two tough opponents.
Oh, absolutely. Both coming off tough losses. Arkansas State lost to Missouri State 3-1, and then Indiana came off a very, very tough 5-set defeat to Florida Gulf Coast. They were down 2-0, came back to tie it up at 2, but just didn't have enough at the very end to take it. Got their first loss this season. Both are going to come out with a little chip on their shoulder to try and get a big win.
And all of a sudden it's knotted up at 7s here in the first set.
This is something that we expected, a very high-scoring game, fast-paced game. Both teams like to play quickly and attack early.
Here, well, Coach Dunbar, when he talked things over, her team down by 4, 17-13. And Dan, they've got to find a way to fight back in this set and really even things up, because right now Arkansas State has all the momentum on their side. They have a lot of energy in their play right now.
Absolutely, and I think the main thing is just that Indiana has to start communicating better with one another. They consider themselves a very unselfish team, and usually when you're unselfish, you're very good at communicating. Right now, they have
adage, Dan, it's not how you start, it is how you finish.
That's correct, and they seem to be playing a little more aggressive than they did in the first set. The communication seems to be a bit better, and that can only enhance their chance of winning this set, a very big set for Indiana.
Dan, in that first 2 sets, the big key, you look at everything else and it's pretty even, but total attacks, Indiana has taken almost 20 more swings than Arkansas State. Coach Dunbar talked about it in the break, just not able to put balls away.
Absolutely, and that just has to do with consistency and maybe even ball placement. As you can see, Arkansas State, they haven't really tried to kill every ball, but they've tried to place it more than anything, and that's something I think Indiana needs to work on.
It's going to go to the middle, and it's a kill for Anna Murphy.
Again, that's just perfect placement. Something we've reiterated over and over again tonight is how good Arkansas State has been on their placement of the ball.
Exactly, and that's something they lack tonight. They've tried to kill a lot of balls, really just hit it as hard as they could and not place the ball, which I think has really been their downfall offensively. That's that placement that we've been talking about all night, that we've been praising Arkansas State for. One of the few times we've seen Indiana really place the ball well. And that's what happens.
Megan Kors is part of a very athletic family. Her brother Tyler was a 4-year pitcher at Xavier, and her other brother Alex played wide receiver at DePaul.
And you mentioned the success of the Kors family. Her brother Alex, state title in football. Tyler, a state title in baseball. And Kors, a state title in volleyball. So winning a state title is just your run-of-the-mill thing in the Kors family.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure they're used to it at this point.
Not too much to brag about at Thanksgiving at the dinner table if you're a Kors sibling.
Exactly right.
And Dan, Indiana hanging around tough and giving Arkansas State a match to the end. How about this Indiana team showing some fight, but Arkansas State comes up victorious.
Right, and I mean, if you're Indiana, you're upset that you lost, but you also know that you're a team that will not give up no matter what. Arkansas State, great performance by them. Curly Samay, obviously the star tonight with 22 kills and a .364 hitting percentage to go with 4 digs and 2 blocks. Very great game.